He's driving a McLaren for the second time in Formula One. Lando Norris wins. Lando Norris wins the Dutch
Let's
Grand
talk about the
Prix.
winning team first, McLaren, as strong as predicted. And the pole sitter Lando Norris again had a bad start, losing his position to Max due to wheel spin. And then, after losing the position, Norris has driven responsibly and impressive. And on lap 16, he has gained over half a second over Max and later completed his move on lap 18 and increased his lead 2.2 seconds in just 4 laps. Then pitted on a lap 29 and came out ahead of Max with a margin of 5 seconds even after a bad pit stop. Later winning the Dutch Grand Prix with a margin of 22 seconds with a phenomenal drive and shown great pace and ended that Max dominance on this track and became only driver who won with a margin of over 10 seconds after 2.5 years. The second McLaren driver, Oscar Piastri, started with a bad launch and lost his position to Russell on the first lap. But as Lando Norris is gaining over Max, Oscar Piastri failed to do so and later pitted late on lap 33 and came ahead of Checo Perez on P5 on those hard compound. Then start chasing Leclerc but unable to find the raw pace to do so and ended behind him and lost his podium chance even with a good car as he was persistent but unable to do anything extraordinary with that McLaren. McLaren now have the fastest and strongest all-rounder on tracks and collected very important point to close the lead to Red Bull for Constructor Championship. And Lando Norris had worked hard on his petty mistakes and shown one again that he was currently number one driver for McLaren and has potential to win and give steady result. Now the Mercedes. Both drivers had good launch and gained some crucial position early in a race. And Lewis Hamilton started on soft and climbed fast to top 10 and shown great pace on those soft tires and able to hold that pace until lap 24 and pitted for hard. But Mercedes was weak on those hard compounds and unable to overtake and then later pitted second time for softs to go for the fastest lap. But unfortunately that was snatched away from him by brilliant final lap by Lando Norris. So at end his work done on soft was enough to put him in points at P8 after starting on grid P14. George Russell with a good start and early overtake on Oscar Piastri and then successfully able to hold Oscar until his pit stop on lap 26 for hard compound. But as case with the Lewis, Mercedes unable to find pace on those hard compounds and lost his positions and then the decision of second pit stop strategy bottled for Ross and ended on P7 even after starting on P4. Such an unpredictable Mercedes performed well in the first phase and weak on second stint. Ferrari this time unexpectedly delivered some good performance by red car and both drivers drove very good race and maintained their tire well. Charles Leclerc started P6, finishes P3 on podium with early overtakes over Checo Perez and later executed strategy masterstrokes and pulled undercut on Oscar and Perez by pitting ahead on lap 25 and later maintained his lead and able to hold it until end and earn some crucial points for Ferrari. Carlos Sainz did some early good overtakes and pitted late that combined with an impressive drive to gain 5 position to cross finish line on P5. Struggle continues for Red Bull where all the difference was made by Max only. Red Bull seems unable to find that raw pace earlier it has and that dominance looked like a glorified past now. The number one driver for Red Bull, Max Verstappen, pulled a good launch and take the lead of race on lap 1 and able to hold it until lap 18. Max drove a decent race, extracting everything from that Honda engine as he could and ended where he started on grid and collected some required point for Red Bull to maintain the Constructor Championship lead. After summer break, Checo Perez was hoping for some miracle, but that failed when the red light turns off and he lost a position to Leclerc and crosses the finish line one position down from where he started the race. But compared to his past few races, he looks like winner. But that's not enough for Red Bull and for Checo Perez if he wanted to retain his seat at Red Bull and Red Bull wanted to win that Constructor Championship. As the case for Aston Martin, poor start by both drivers losing their positions and later unable to gain back. And at end, only one of them has found position in points. With 5-second penalty, Lance ended on P13 and the struggle continued for Aston Martin. Pierre Gasly for Alpine team ended where he started his race and got some points for his team with stable and decent drive. Other teams were a weak performance by Kick Sauber and ended last on the grid. The Haas team, one car able to end on one position far from point. Disastrous race for Yuki and ended in a bottom 5, where Daniel Ricciardo drove a comparative better race than his teammate. That's all about Dutch Grand Prix. Please do subscribe and follow for more race reviews and F1 insights.